my social media. All right, so let's give this here a couple of seconds. And okay, so here we are, right? We are going to be doing our free weight workout clinic. I'm going to grab the weights right here. Okay, and as I was saying, the most important thing is to remember that your joints are precious, right? So you want to be careful with your neck, with your shoulders, with your wrists, with your elbows, with your lower back, with your knees, and with your ankles. So it's very important to have proper form. So I'm going to start with the lower body and move up. You always start your workouts with the larger muscle group. So if I'm going to be doing, for example, some lunges, right? You put 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. The first thing to remember is you want your toes to be aligned in the same direction, right? You see that? You see that at home? My toes are in the same direction. Do not do this with your back leg. When you're doing this with your back leg, if you come forward and you come back up, your leg is like a door hinge. Your knee is like a door hinge. You don't want to hang off that hinge the wrong way. So if you're going to be doing this in this position, you're going to hurt your knee. So you want to bring your foot in the same direction. So if we're doing a static lunge, for example, and you want to come down and you want to come up and squeeze the glutes, back is straight, come forward and squeeze the glutes. Another problem that we encounter with this is the knee. You don't want your knee to go over your toe, right? So I'm going to give you another angle here. So this is my knee. I'm going down. You want your knee to remain straight. If your knee goes over, if you lunge this way, this over here is your meniscus. The meniscus is precious and can get hurt very easily. I was talking earlier about the Tower of Pisa. You'll be putting the wrong weight on the meniscus. So you want your leg to be straight and you want to go down and you want to come up, right? You want to go down, you want to come up. One way to remember is, because this does target the glutes, don't be afraid to stick your butt back, right, as you come up, all right? I know some people like to do with a straight body. That's okay too, but if you're not understanding the proper form, just bring your chest forward and push your butt back, and then you squeeze up as you come up, right? So that you come down and you bring it out, and now you've got good form. The same thing if we are doing forward squats, right? When we're doing squats, and I'm going to show you the side view. When you're squatting, you don't want to squat like this, all right? If you're that person in class squatting like this, first of all, you're not touching your glutes. You're not doing anything to your lower body. All you're doing is putting pressure on the meniscus and on your knees. So very important when you're squatting, again, that you maintain that position, that you stick your glutes back and come up, all right? You're going to go back and you're going to come up, making sure that your knees don't come over your toes. If you have knee problems, only go halfway. Same thing with the one-legged lunges. If you've got knee problems, you come down halfway and you squeeze it up. And if you squeeze, you're going to get a good workout, even if you're not getting that full range of motion. So that's one thing that I'd like to teach in my classes. The other one is when we are doing straight-legged deadlifts. When we say straight leg or straight arms, you don't lock your elbows, you don't lock your knees. If you lock your knees, again, you're going to hurt your tendons and ligaments. So you always want to be slightly soft, shoulder width. And as you come down, keep your back straight, right? See my back? You want to keep your back straight as you come down. Back and squeeze, right? Don't round your back. If you're like this, you're going to hurt your lower back. This does nothing for you. So you keep it straight, even if you're not coming down too much. You are working, you're doing what's called the Romanian deadlift. So you go down with a straight back and you come up and you keep your abs nice and tight and you come down, straight back, and you go up. So that's how you do your deadlifts. So that will cover some of the rudimentary movements that we're doing in class. Moving on to upper body, shoulders. Your shoulders can go like this, they can go like this, they can go forward. But if you're going to be doing side flies, straight arms, your shoulder doesn't come any higher than this. So if we are doing, again, straight arms means slightly bent. And you bring them up, and you bring them down. Do not come any higher. You can come higher if you're going forward. That works. But you're going to jam your shoulders if you try to break that horizontal line. So you got to hold the horizontal line, bring them up, bring them down, right? Up, bring them down. Same thing if we're doing with the elbows. If you're bending your same muscle group, if you're bending your arms, again, you bring it up here and you release it nice and easy down. And you bring it up and you bring it down. So that would be another exercise. Then, moving on to our biceps. If you're to hold your body in what's called the neutral position, it's like you're landing at the Olympics, right? When at the Olympics they say it's a perfect landing, the position is boom, right? Slightly leaning forward, kind of like a football player, because if you're like this, you're not going to fall backwards and you're not going to fall forward. So you maintain your center and you squeeze it up and you release it down. So the count would be 1, 2, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, you're not swinging. You don't want to go like this, right? This is not going to do anything for you. It's going to hurt you. You want to keep it nice and tight. Your body's tight. Your shoulders are back. Your abs are in. Your chest is open. So many things to think about. Okay, there we go. That's why we don't talk in class, because we pay attention. And you squeeze and you bring them down. And you bring them up and down. Now, if we move on to triceps, right? Biceps, 2 heads, triceps, 3 heads. Let's say I want to do a tricep kickback. Again, abs are in, shoulders are back, right? You keep your elbow up and you squeeze it. And then you bring it back in. And you squeeze it back there. And you bring it in. It's not a swinging like this, right? If you're doing this with your arm, you're not isolating your muscles, you're not going to see the results, right? So you want to go back, squeeze it, and come forward. And squeeze, and release. And squeeze, and release. If we do overhead triceps, and here it all depends. If you have the shoulder mobility to do overhead triceps, fine, great, do them. If you don't have the shoulder mobility, you can hold everything here and do it this way. But basically, if you're going to do the one arm extension, you want to stretch the tricep, right? You want to point your elbow forward and you're going to go up and you're going to bring it back and bring it up and back and up and back, right? If we're doing the 2 arms at the same time, you bring them up. Try to keep your elbows forward. If you go to the side, it might be a little difficult on your joints. So you try to keep your elbows forward as you can, and you bring them up. And bring them down, and bring them up. Again, shoulders down, and that would be another exercise. Now, one more for today, and then we can take a break. We will have more of these clinics in the future. Now, we're going to do some overhead presses. Right, you're going to see these a lot in the gym. When you press up, again, you want to be in that position, nice and straight. You press up and you let your eyes follow and then you come down. If you go like this, looking at the ground, you're going to hurt your neck. So you want to go up and then you want to bring them down. And you want to press up and then you want to bring the weight down, right? So those are just some rudimentary moves. We're going to be doing a lot more of these clinics, but this is to give you an idea of what we're talking about when we're talking about having proper form during exercise, so that you can come back and join us again tomorrow or next week when we do our podcast. So thank you very much for joining us.